I also set this up to like record gameplay because I thought I was gonna maybe like take the video that I had for my PlayStation and upload it, but it don't work that way either. You have to literally stream it live and let YouTube capture it, and then you can do whatever the hell you want with it. Then it's weird. At any rate, we're back. So, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, 1994. This is the pinnacle of fighting games. I don't even think at this particular moment Street Fighter really even had a viable competitor. I mean, they're like SNK was still doing like King of Fighters, but King of Fighters was very much like the Japanese fight scene for King of Fighters was way bigger than ours here, and in the Americas, like South America, King of Fighters, which is still super popular in like Brazil and other parts of Central and South America. Nothing like it is here. Like King of Fighters is kind of like, oh yeah, that's that one game that's kind of like Street Fighter, where it's clearly a very different game. This game here, like, is my first real competitive version of Street Fighter that I got into. Jeez, I was probably, what, 1994? Let's just say I was pretty young. Hanging out at the arcades, when we had arcades. This in Mortal Kombat 2, I think, was out at about the same time. I played the shit out of Mortal Kombat 2, and I played the hell out of this. My main character in this, believe it or not, with all that Hadouken shit that I talk, my main character in this game was Blanca, hands down. Blanca is probably one of my favorite Street Fighter characters. I kind of share something with Yoshiori Ono, who's basically this game's lifeblood now. This guy's probably the only reason that this game still even exists today is Yoshiori Ono, but his favorite character is Blanca. My character has been Blanca forever. I was so glad that they added Blanca to Street Fighter V. And he's got the trolliest costume ever. Small fact that a lot of people don't know, Balrog, which he's called in this game here, is actually Mike Bison, like Mike Tyson. I think anybody with half a brain can figure out why Capcom changed his name here in the United States. But I still find myself referring to him as M. Bison, because I played a lot of these games on like Japanese Dreamcast, Japanese Sega Saturn, Japanese PlayStation. I couldn't wait for these games to come out in the States, so I resulted to importing a lot of these games. And so Vega, who is our M. Bison here, so when I refer to Vega, if I say Vega on here, I know you guys are thinking that's the dude with the claws, but usually when I refer to Vega, I'm talking about M. Bison. And Balrog is actually Vega in Japan too. They just kind of did this weird name swap over some controversy with Mike Tyson, obviously. This game also is like the first appearance of Akuma, which also I will often refer to him as Goki. So if you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Just this disclaimer, mark it down. Goki is Akuma. There's my dog right there. And I'm not even get to watch him fight? That's horse shit.
Listen, he landed the first electricity at Dhalsim. That game was obviously over.
Oh yeah, and here's my other character. I'm a huge E Honda fan also. I love E Honda. I'm not sure if I like him too much on Street Fighter V, but this version of E Honda is such a fucking beast. He does so much damage. He's got that aerial, his aerial standing fierce, his aerial fierce, excuse me, is so powerful. It'll take like 30% of a health bar. and it almost always combos into a crouching fierce kick, or was it roundhouse? Yeah, so he can whoop an ass or two. So, did you ever play this version of Street Fighter 2?
I'm sure I've played it once or twice, and I know that I've played you in it, and I've had to suffer your Blanca, so...
This game actually came out on the Super Nintendo. This is the first version, like home version of this game that I own was on Super Nintendo. I also own this game on like the shittiest console ever. There were no fight sticks or anything cool like that. But I had this and Samurai Showdown 2 on the 3DO. I still have a 3DO somewhere floating around my basement. The only two good games that were on that machine were Street Fighter 2 Turbo, we're watching right now, and Samurai Showdown. I'm pretty sure the Street Fighter 2 Turbo for 3DO goes for quite a pretty penny, because it's extremely rare. Because the machine was dog shit. I don't think they probably... I don't even know if that machine broke 100,000 units sold.
Well, it's because, like, one machine and one game were about the price of a PS5 back then, so...
Yeah, no, 3DO cost a lot. And, like, 3DO... The 3DO, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think 3DO was, like, originally, like, a game developer, and they decided, like, they were just going to make their own game console out of nowhere. 3DO is, like, responsible for, like, was it Road Rage, right, with the motorcycles? Or Road Rash, excuse me, with the motorcycles. And then,
what a great game.
Yeah, awesome. Cool ass game. Nothing screams like 1990 anything like Road Rash on the Sega Genesis. But the company 3DO published and developed that game, from what I understand, with Electronic Arts, and then eventually made their own console. And that console was... I'm just getting ripped out of my Blanca footage, man. Oh, he's locked to player 1, so I'll get a little bit more. I just did like a kind of a cool drawing with Blanca. Maybe I'll get around to finishing it like everything else. I want to learn how to animate some of these characters. I've been messing around with animation, and hopefully, you know, give me like a year or two if I'm still able to even move my hands after what I do for work. You know, maybe I'll make an animated cartoon one of these days. It's kind of been like a lifelong dream, is to make an animated cartoon or a video game of some type, anything with my characters moving on the screen, sound completely alluring to me.
Animated music video sounds pretty cool.
It does, but you're really that might kill me. That might be like the last thing I ever do is make like an animated music video. So if Aggro ever makes a animated music video, just look for my obituary soon after, because it may literally take everything out of me to do it. But I would love it.
You'll ascend into the next plane. You'll be fine.
If I had it in me, like if I could hire a couple of people or get a couple of people interested in making an animated cartoon where I could kind of, start an animated cartoon and have like some other people help me finish a project, that'd be pretty cool. I take on a lot of projects to where I sometimes get like project fatigue, where I'll start something, but then I get myself back into a corner where there's like literally no way I could finish it off. It'd be like, it's like having like artistic bankruptcy. Like I just bite off much more that I can chew, that I'm like filing Chapter 7 on all my creative endeavors.
That's a pretty common like issue for a lot of creative people, is they just have all these ideas and they want to all get them down on paper, but when you overload yourself like that, you just kind of, you can't focus on one thing, and then they all start to fall behind.
Yeah, I always want to finish a bunch of stuff. I got a bunch of stuff that I've been working on, and I want to like learn everything that I can learn, whether it's video production or getting behind a camera or just doing something creatively. I I'm nuts about doing stuff that I can create, and I love to like create stuff with other people. Like the biggest draw of being in a band with my bandmates is sometimes we do shit that's for a punk rock band, right? I think we do some things that can be pretty creative sometimes, and sometimes I hit the ground running sometimes, and they just maybe they just kind of back off in the corner and just watch me run around in a circle, either out of pure enjoyment or whatever it is. But sometimes we really kind of come up with some really cool things that I wish like I could share it with everybody at all times, you know, like. And so that's part of this like project that I wanted to do with YouTube, because I think making a record is cool, and I still want to make records, but I would rather have a chance to engage with people on a much broader scale, like and allow people to have like some like input as to how and what we create. Mostly because, you know, I can't have like 1,000,001 ideas. I got to be able to just take the one and run with one idea and see it through to the end. Otherwise, like I said, you know, I kind of get like that fatigue where I've got like a table full of, you know, projects that are like half or less than or just over finished. And, you know, when I open that folder to go back to any of these old existing projects anymore, it's like, I feel like I'm never gonna have enough daylight to ever see any of them through. I didn't even know if I set a timer on this. Once again, if anybody's watching this, the reason I'm doing this is I'm going to be adding some of these TVs in the background, just kind of playing these video games. For the Hoboken, New Jersey music video that we're going to shoot here. If you're a local and you know of us and stuff, you want to reach out to us and get your mug in the video, I encourage it. You know how to get a hold of me. My name is Jae Voltage. You can find me on, you know, the Book of Faces and all that other shit. So, and just overall, come chat with me about video games, because that's what I like to do. Video games and video games. Just kind of why, like, Aggro and I writes a lot of songs about video games. Now, every song that we write is clearly not about video games. We've stated that before. But if I had it my way, I would probably write about nothing but video games. But that's not very democratic of me.
Or you think this is a democratic society we live in? I don't think so, brother.
In our band space, it is. I can tell you that. If it gets voted down, it just gets voted down. Oh, this weird glitch where they had like this weird rubber banding of the animation there for a second.
Oh yeah, I just saw that. Talk about weird.
Oh, here it is, right here. We have Bison and Belrog fighting it off to each other right now. Now, if I was watching stock footage of this and I did not watch this match start, I would not know which character was which until I saw their faces next to the names. It's still weird to me. Just, you know, people call Belrog. I still think he's M. Bison to me. And here's, this is a 90s trope. Sexy females doing oddly weird, sexy shit. That's the most awkward, like, 3 frames of animation. They could have probably left all of that out. The cami tongue thing.
And she's got like big ass fish eyes too.
She does.
It's just really a really weird angle that they got on her there.
Now the character art in this game here, like in the select screen, is very much like not the characters that you're seeing like represented in the game, which is also why Street Fighter Alpha was so popular after this. Is these character designs, as you can see in the character select screen, are worlds above like Street Fighter 2, like vanilla Street Fighter 2. These character designs are excellent. And so the characters, even like Cammy, looks like she doesn't even belong here. In fact, her sprite almost looks damn near identical to like her sprite from like the Alpha series. They didn't change very much with Cammy in any of these here. Hey, my buddy Chris Caustic is on. I wonder if I should have him hop in here with us here. What if it's too late to send him an invite? Yeah, we do. Yeah, let's see. Let's go and what do you do? Go to invite. I'm absolutely dumb. And you know what the funny thing is people are going to be staring at a blank screen, and they're staring at a blank screen right now as I'm fuddling through menus. And I'll send him an invite if he wants to hop in and talk turkey about Street Fighter. He can do that. Chris is a cool dude. And now we're back. I don't know if like the microphone goes quiet or not. Oh, there we go.
I think it usually just cuts out the broadcast feed.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you get like the little bouncing happy faces.
Yep.
Which is gonna suck now, because now I'm gonna have to like know that there's gonna be bouncing happy faces at some point in this video, and I'm gonna have to make sure like as I edit footage that we get from this garage show that I'm gonna have to weed out any pictures of dancing happy faces.
I mean, it's a pretty easy edit, to be fair.
I think, depending on what monitor this is, this could be monitor number 2, and this will probably be right behind Eddie's head. Because I'm gonna probably put the drums like right in the corner between the arcade machine and everything.
You should totally just leave the bouncy faces in there. It'll be your Starbucks cups. Like that little production crew Easter egg that nobody catches.
Right. Except, knowing any of our friends, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, you fucked that up, dude." It'll be a point of contention. Trust me.
Exactly, but when you do it intentionally, then it's not a fuck up.
Right. Now this is a character right here, like Dalsim, like he changed a lot with the Alpha series. And I wish I was gonna cover some of the Alpha series. Maybe we will, just for shits and giggles. Like if I can get like another monitor down here. If I get like a total of 6 monitors down here, and another PlayStation, it's conceivable. So maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll go into Street Fighter Alpha. I'll pop on Street Fighter Alpha 3, who's got the greatest announcer in fighting game history. Other than Capcom vs. SNK 2, which is my steadfast favorite fighting game of all time. I don't. Oh, every time I see like a new challenger comes, I'm like, yes, we're gonna fight right now.
I didn't bring my quarters today, unfortunately.
What would be awesome is if you had this game, just to play some of these old fucking fighting games, just for sake of doing it, just to kind of see where they've come from, and where they've gone.
I remember where they've come from. I do have memories of these games. Let's just say I'm okay with living in the present.
Yeah, that not to be completely off topic, but I think Spawn's gonna drag me right back into Mortal Kombat. I did a lot of Mortal Kombat stuff on this channel here, just fucking around playing. It all depends on how he plays. If he doesn't play in a style that I like, then I guess it wasn't meant to be. Because Joker plays a little weird, but I kind of like him.
I mean, you obviously like Street Fighter, so all I'm going to say is Grand Blue is Anime Street Fighter, and you need to pick it up, because that game is going to be the next thing.
I need to pick up, and I need to pick up a camera for filming, because filming is obviously going to be part of my arsenal here going forward. I wanted to buy a GoPro, but I've found a couple of issues with the GoPro. My drummer and my bass player Dan and Eddie have GoPros, and there's some things about GoPros that I didn't realize that you couldn't do, that you can just do with the normal camera. You can't zoom in while you're filming. So if I want,
it's a static thing, from what I recall.
Yeah, they're very, very static, and so I'm kind of, and we'll probably shoot most of this with GoPro. There's a lot of things I want to do, like I said, I wanted to do some scripting things, and I want to do some throwbacks to some other video games. I'm a huge Yakuza fan, so when the challenge is being set, and I don't want to get into too many specifics, like I said, I'm going to kind of script this a little bit, where the challenge has been offered, and I will meet the challenge. And I'm thinking, like, it would be super cool to have, like, that really cool zoom up close as I'm grabbing my shirt collar, and then have the camera from above me in slow motion as I'm throwing my jacket midair. And in slow motion. I think it would be a pretty cool nod. If anybody knows me or the Yakuza series, I think they'll pick it right up. Oh, glitchy characters. Well, watching Street Fighter 2 attract mode for another couple minutes is probably going to require another beer. So I'm probably going to have to grab another one of those.
I will probably make an intermission myself when we switch over to the next one.
Yeah, we'll at least get the, if you want, just for shits and giggles, like if we can get some help from somebody out there and get another monitor out here, plus another video game console that can stream, which I think we basically have all bases covered. I have lots of video game consoles anyway. If we can do an Alpha Series one and kind of pepper that somewhere in between here on one of these monitors, it'd be pretty cool.
I'm sure we can make that work.
Oh, I'm almost positive. Yeah, I found my Rob the Robot, and I kind of basically set up a lot of shit out here in the garage that I hope I could get all of it in video. I don't want to make it like the most busiest video you ever saw, obviously. I'll revisit the garage here and there in future endeavors. But this place is like, firsthand, like this garage is absolutely built for gaming. Most people fix cars in the garage. If somebody drove a car in my garage, I'd be appalled.
Yeah.
This is clearly a place for bands to hang out and play fucking video games. And the game just literally froze with the timer going. Here's another fucking spot we're going to be like, I hope they didn't fuck anything up.
I wonder if this is like classic nostalgia here.
I wonder if it ever did that in the arcades.
Oh, it did. You absolutely that was a glitch they never took out of the original code.
I don't know if this game's like all original code, but it's for a game like I played this with my fight sticks and stuff. Like this, while the button selection's really weird, like if you don't have like a controller with a touchpad or like a fight stick with a touchpad, which I don't. None of my fight sticks have like that PlayStation 4 touchpad, which is completely stupid. It was the biggest waste ever. You can't press start. You have to map that button to do something. You have to map another button to be start, and I hate it. So it saves each setting per game, per ROM. So it's a little weird. So I can't like just set one setting and then have it be on every game. Which is why before we have to set these up, I have to go to each one to make sure like the screen sizes are set. If they're set to have a monitor in the background, or set to have like scan lines or anything like that. I hope scan lines don't make it look too soft on a video feed, and I hope it's complete full screen. Like I haven't watched like a YouTube video on a PlayStation in a long time.
Yeah, it should. It should basically be like this. You get I can see the edges a little bit around the characters, and It's a full screen. You should be fine.
Now, I have an Ethernet switch on my garage. I think what will probably be more efficient, rather than to try to run these things off of Wi-Fi out here in the garage, is put them on an Ethernet switch, and then that way they're all connected. But I need what 1, 2, 3, 4. I need an 8-port switch, so I think I have 2 4-port switches, but you can't make 8 out of 2 4s, so. But if we did Street Fighter Alpha, we would only need 6. So, technically. Yeah, there's a lot of audio glitches in this version. You know, when you're in an arcade, you can almost never hear any of this. Period.
No, everything just sounds like people grunting and loud beeping noises.
Right. Yeah, or you just hear like every arcade machine going at the same time. But the one thing you can definitely pick out of any fucking arcade is they have Street Fighter. Because the minute you hear Hadouken, you know some ass whoopings are gonna go down. You know, like Street Fighters in that building. There's a couple of really good arcades in Chicago that I want to go to.
I was only ever at like one of them, but it was more of a like GameWorks barcade thing. It wasn't super great, so I'd be interested to see like actual. Yeah.
Is it the one that's like across from like the Kuma restaurant? You know what Kuma is, right?
I think Michelle was telling me about that, but I didn't go there.
Kuma's like a heavy metal like bar where they like all the burgers named after like metal bands and stuff.
Yeah, she was telling me about that, but we didn't get around to seeing that one.
Yeah, it's funny. I when we were up there, I happened to run into somebody who actually, the guy working there actually lived in Michigan before, and he had saw Aggro die in Snafu like 7 or 8 years ago. It blew my mind.
Small world.
Yeah, small world. So back to this Cammy fight. Cammy.
No, before you
I don't like her in
that
Street
thought,
Fighter 4. Yeah, go ahead.
I have to say, like, you realize someone actually put a lot of time into modeling Zangief's junk in Street Fighter 2, because that is not stuffed. That is some straight up. That man is.
It could be all ball hair for all you know. It could really just be like
oh no, you see him on his. You can see the knockdown animation for him, and that is not a stuffed lower half there.
He's Captain Codpiece.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Zangief is. They don't call him the Beef for nothing.
Oh God. Check, please.
Yeah. I think we're gonna move on to the next one. I think I'm gonna make a break to the bathroom real quick, and then we'll be back with a Street Fighter Alpha of some sort. Cause fuck it, why not? All right. Talk to y'all in a bit.